looking at? Are we looking at the right thing? We are. Look at that. Right, I think we're in the right place. Take safety goggles off, don't need them anymore. Sorry, just been cutting all this trimming. We've been away most of the weekend, and I've just realised I've got to get this ready for the sportive we've got coming up. It's a 100 miler, so it's a Frondo. This is the power meter. I can't remember if we did a video on the power meter, but it's a power meter over off eBay, carbon crank, power to max, German power meter. Older style one, really expensive when they were new. Paid about 200 quid for the whole lot. Crank and that, and some rings, but the rings were too big. Bought some cheap rings just to tide me over until I spotted some on eBay that were worth going for, because I wanted some SRAM Red X Glide, which seemed to work better with this crank because they're the ones that came with it. These things are a bit clunky, but they were 35 quid for both rings, so you guess what you pays for. Ran it last week, fine. It's 52/34, so it's compact. Works great, but every now and again it completely jams the chain when you're changing up to the big ring, and you have to back off and put it in again. So I did manage to spot some on eBay. Pair of X Glide rings, hardly worn at all. Almost new. Little rings virtually untouched. Big rings, I'd say, it's probably got about 1,000 miles on it top. Just looking at it, so we're gonna chuck that on and see if that's any better. They're very light. So we'll see how we go with these. I mean, they say they're SRAM Red, and the code number complies, but they're also the same code number as I've got on the Force. So I suspect they use the same rings on both of them. And the only difference is one of them's got a carbon crank and the other one's got a really light carbon crank. So we'll see how we go with that. So the anomaly with these is you've got to take the crank out of the frame to change the chain rings. Not all of them you do that. You can actually just offset it, jiggle it around, and actually get it over the top and around the front, but you can't because of the power meter on this one. I also think you possibly need to take the crank out to get the power meter battery out as well, unless I can get a screwdriver into the little access hole on the other side that releases the bolt that allows that to come out. I am absolutely covered in grass. I dread to think what I look like. My legs were green earlier. Right, let's get this off. I'll flip the bike round. You can see what I'm doing. I wasn't just going to do this, but I thought I haven't done these videos for about a month because we've been clearing the workshop out. I'll show you that in a bit, so you can see where we've got to. I'm now at the point where I think I'm gonna get somebody to give me a quote to do it. We've also got something else we bought as well. I might as well show you that while we're there. I was on eBay, and when you think the power meter was the steal of the week at 200 quid for a carbon crank and a dual action power meter with left-right thing. Look at them bad boys. Carbon tubular wheels. So these are ones with the stick-on tub tyres that use double-sided tape on. He wanted 90 quid. I wasn't even going to argue. Well, barter him down at that price. That is an absolute steal for them. They are second-hand. They are 250 to 300 quid all day long. 80-something millimetre profile. Previous owner, for some reason, took the Planet X stickers off. These are Planet X rims, by the way. So all I've got to do is just find some more rims to stick on it, and then we'll be good to go. You know, they're not 100%, but I must have said a word you didn't like, and it shut the camera down. I have to be very careful about saying that. Anyway, right. So I was just showing you the wheels. They're spot on. In fact, I'm gonna sync the camera up because the camera does seem to work better when it's attached to the Insta360 app. So there's an app on the phone for it, and then I can control the camera from here. I can't control the camera from the camera, which means all the catchphrases and things don't work as well. which is good. Frame took some damage last time we were out, and I don't know how it's happened. I've got a massive chunk missing out of the frame around the other side. It's not structural; it's just taking the paint off. It might have been a bit of stone chips hit me, or somebody's pulled the bike on top of my bike, and I've not realised that it is. But it is what it is. The frame was only supposed to be a tide me over frame until I get something else. I'm probably going to end up having to do what everybody else has done and move to a disc brake. But if I do, I want to get one that's got enough clearance, that's as light as this, but it's got as much clearance under there, so I can get a thicker tyre on and use it for gravel as well. I'm not sure I can get away with this. This is an out-and-out racing frame. Right, are we in yet? Come on. No, I don't want all these silly adverts. Just give me the camera. And we are recording. 1 minute 30 into it. 56 megs left. 95% battery. Good to go. Right, let's get that crank off. So these are very similar to the SRAMs and how they work. It's a captive nut, and that nut is actually what breaks it off the spline. So it's like the Octolinks on that Shimano used to use. They were like this. You just wang this off and it eventually forces itself off. There we go, all out. Yep, everything's good there. Just going to push it out with the fingers. So this is behaving itself now. When I first put it in, it was really difficult to get it in and out of there. It's going to drop that, so it's off the chain now. So all you do is you just pull it out and hopefully it comes out without pulling the bearing or the cap out. Because there's a cap in these. Now, I had to steal the cap off another bike because they were slightly bigger, but these appear to be working. They're running nicely. Right, so we just need to put these off now. Let's stick you over it. I've just realised I've got you on really narrow legs, and you're probably going to fall over in a minute. So, can you see that? Let's have a look on the phone. So, the phone says we're not looking at anything. I don't know why the phone says we're not looking at anything. Oh, we are recording. Start. Let's try that again. So I'll use the small torque wrench. And I think it is a 5 and a 4, or is it 2 5s? 2 5s. Of course, the 5 is missing, which means it's probably floating around on the side somewhere. I'm not entirely sure where though, because there's not many places left for it to float to. Certainly not there. If I suspect it's on here because I think I took it up to the workshop when I was working on the. Oh, there we go. Right. Yep, it's there. It went up to the other workshop when we were assembling the plane because somebody supposedly come to buy it, but then even though it was a local lad, he told me, yeah, I'm absolutely having it, mate. Completely ghosted me the next day when he said, I'm going to be coming the next day with a Luton and everything. Yeah, right, and then just ghosted me on the text messages when I was saying, what time are you coming, mate? Because I'm not sitting here all day waiting for you. So if you are watching, mate, cheers. I know who you are. A 5, that looks like a 5. These things are just fiddly to get out. Don't lose the torque wrench. Right, so I'll try and show you what I'm up to. Maybe they're not a 5. Maybe they're a 6 on one side. I did think they were bigger on one side than the other. Yeah. Actually, sometimes you find these come out anyway, they don't spin. One side will. One side, I think it's the captive part. Sometimes holds, but it's going to be awkward this time and not hold. That's it. Just got to be careful you don't drop anything on the crank, because it won't like that. It's been carbon. So it's it's one of these ones where you have a spider that's bolted onto the crank, and then your chain rings bolt onto the spider. So when I bought this, I can't, like I said, I can't remember if I did a video with this thing or not. It's that long since I've done my videos. But the theory was, even if the power meter turned out to be absolute garbage, I'll still get a carbon crank for 200 quid. And all I can do is just put a standard spider in, and I'll just leave the power meter on. I mean, it's a bit heavy than a spider, but I could easily pick up an SRAM spider. They're like 2 a penny. It's the rings that are worth the money, not the spiders and the cranks. So right, let's just get me myself a little pot. I've got one stuck on the side over here somewhere. I bet you it's all no, it's not. There's one here. I can take. Not that they are. I don't think these are magnetic. I think these are either aluminium or titanium. I suspect they're anodized aluminium, judging by the white fur inside. Oh, you're going to be awkward, aren't you? So it's a decision with these, because they do tend to fur up. It's like you cranks one of the places, it just takes all the shit. And it's in direct fire from the front wheel and the road and everything. So you don't find the crank tends to get a lot of rubbish on it. Come on. I've just got one more left there. Picture quality is probably rubbish because I've got the light behind me. Won't be a problem soon when we move to the new workshop. We'll still be doing some stuff in here, like this kind of thing. I'll probably still do in here. Something that's clean and not mucky, he says, when you see the absolute state out. You know what I mean? So it's impossible to get that over there. So the only way off is that way. So a lot of them, if it was a spider, it'd just have the bobbles out for that, and you'd be able to get it in between and jiggle it through, and then you could get it off just about. I've got absolute filth all over the chainring. Where have I put them down? Over here. Right, so there is a certain way that these have to go on. So there's there should be a pin somewhere that stops the chain from disappearing down inside that. So that's there. And that always goes level with the crank. So there'll be a hole pattern that takes it, that puts that there. He says. Brilliant, but isn't. How is that even possible? Is there another one? How's that possible? Oh, that's a bit of a bummer. So the inner ring isn't an issue. We can do it with the inner ring, but it's not the inner ring I've got an issue with. It's the outer ring that I've got the problem with. This does go from this side out. I'm just going to make it a difference. Yeah, I suspect that that would have been the, yeah. So is it possible to swap them over? Do they unscrew even? Because you would be, hold on, that's a plastic, oh there you go, live and learn. So that's a plastic thing that's come out. And the question is, can I now stick this over there? I might have to knock it out. I don't think it's got a screw thread on. It looks like it's reamed over. Yeah, that hole definitely looks bigger on one side. Oh, there might be a screw thread in there. We might be lucky. Let me go and find something to extract that with. I don't think that's coming out. It's not spinning. I can't see that it's coming out either. Well, it is. It is coming out. There we go. No, there wasn't a thread. Just needs tapping into this side. I wonder if I could do it in the vise rather than see if you can see what I'm up to. See if we can just press it in with the vise. I don't think it's got threads. Doesn't look like it's got threads. Sure, I could make one of these out of the screw if I needed to. If it was a problem, I'd thread it. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to put it in there and press it in. There you go. That's in. I don't think that'll come out. What I might do is just give that a whack with a punch just to do it. There you go. You live and learn. You can convert them. Right. No. Yes. No. Yes. No. Sorry about that. Last two bolts I got. We had interlopers in the workshop. Right. So that's on now. We'll just slide this in. You've seen me do this God knows how many times. I'm not going to re-grease it. I would normally grease it, but it's still covered in grease because it was only about 2 weeks ago it came off last time. So just hook the little ring round, shove it on, and watch it whiz off. Come on, behave yourself. That's better when I'm moving this time. Still annoying. That's about right. Get some. It's absolutely filthy now. This. Oops. Don't forget the spacer. Bendy wing. Yeah. I'm assuming it's impossible to put these on upside down or back to front or anything, but let's just check now. Then I'm like, oh, look at the state of my hands. Should better get this so far hand tight. And once we get it on, we'll just have to true it up again because I'm sure it'll end up in a different place to the original one I've just taken off. Grab the torque wrench, just watch the cabinet trying to fall over. Oops, what's that hook? I'm looking for that, I'm not finding it. Right, so this wants to be just 40 Newton meters. Pretty sure that's what it says on the website. Nope, can't see it. Right, we'll set it to 40 anyway. Foot-pounds. That is 42, so we need to back it off to, that's 40 now. That's it. Job's a good one. Just looking at the brake pads as well. The brake pads still look good. I've just changed them on the fronts, I think. Was it the fronts? Yeah, the fronts have changed. The backs, I don't know what's the crack is because I thought they do look quite worn compared to the other one. Much better. Yeah, I think they've got a bit of meat left on them. We'll keep an eye on them. I've got a spare set of proper, genuine Shimano brake pads now, so we can replace them. I'm using some Clark's ones at the moment. Right, let's just check we're all good. It seems to pick up much smoother. There you go. No jamming or anything. Checking the gears are going okay. A little bit. That's better. Just wanted one little tweak. See, that's all it takes. Just one little thing. Just check it on the less tension. This is the compact block on this one. I think when we ride out next time, because I'm on a there you go. Boom. That's good. We'll leave that one. So if you remember, I think one of the other videos, I can't remember if I stuck, if it was on. We've got the that's a new. So that's the R8000 rather than 6800 I had on before. The same at the front. I've done that one on the front too. So we've upgraded those, but we're still using the same levers. and the brakes are still the same, R6800 brakes. So we'll see how we go with this. It's kind of a bit of a bodge just to keep it going, so I have to buy a whole new group set. But that appears to be working nice now anyway, so I'm happy about that. Just need to clean the crud off it, and then we're good to go. So maybe see if I can find something to clean it with. There we go. A clean cloth. That's a novelty. Got some the marks there that are caused by feet rub. Shouldn't be getting that now because I've got I've changed my clips, but they were on there already. So actually that was a muck mark rather than anything else. So just clean the muck and gubbins off that. Where's my dirty one? Give this a quick rub down and just get the excess oil off there. Because all that happens is if you've got excess oil on, it just picks up muck. Right, that's ready to go. Happy with that. Some miles going in that. The power meter's working as well. I wasn't sure about that. Last ride I went out on, I think the trouble was I'd left the turbo on the inside, and the head unit picked up the turbo and knocked the power meter off this. So I ended up with no cadence and no power for the entire ride, and I couldn't work out why. But I think we're good to go now. I just need to rename it on here. So we'll do that now while we're stood watching. Today, when you're ready. So it's a Garmin 1030. Sensors connected, so it is working. It's enabled. Sensor details. Name, that's the one. I want to change that. So we will call it Power Max. Power to back to that. Max. Power to max. Boom. So I know what that one is now, because I was struggling to see whether we were on. It's got a weird heart rate monitor, which I'm not sure what that is. So I'm guessing that must be my Garmin Tri. I just don't know why it's got that weird name on it. Yeah, it looks like a Garmin number. Weird. So I think that's the Garmin Tri. I suspect I've been leaning on the buttons. So Garmin space Tri. So I like to name the sensors. Just makes life easier when you're riding. So I've got the ticker, I've got the kicker, I've got the Kuspu, and so I know that's the one that used to be on here. And I've got to remember to put the power sensor for the Garmin back on for the other bike. Right, turn that off now. Good. Right, job's a good one. Right, hope that's been useful. Bit of a quick one, Ray. Nothing fancy, and then we'll crack on. So I might as well give you a quick walk around the workshop now while we're here. So planer's gone, table saw's gone, bandsaw's gone. There's still a router table behind there. I've got a stick on for sale, but I probably won't get a lot for that. But let's just move it on its way. We've pillar drill staying. The extractor unit up there. That's a filtration unit that's going. That we just got to get that down, and I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else. We've got some hand tools that are for sale. One of the routers will be going. The biscuit jointer is going, and what else? Oh, you love this. A bloke came to buy the jig, and I've got people stacked up, and I was trying to sort stuff out, and I grabbed him the jig, get him that, and I accidentally get him a box of biscuits. So these are with that, and he just took them. He didn't say, "Oh, why?" So I pinged him later and said, "I'll give you a box of biscuits," and he went, "Yeah," and I went, "Well, they weren't part of the sale. It was an accident." "Oh, right, well." So twat. I've had people turn up, to take the machine off to pay me again, like 200 and something quid. And I'm like, no, you've already paid for it. Fucking dishonest. So anyway, I've got to go over there and go and retrieve my flipping biscuits, because there's about 100 and something quid's worth of biscuits. I ended over there. Plus, at the time, I got somebody who's interested in the biscuit jointer. So that was a bit of a pisser. Anyway, right. Let's close it there. I don't know when I'm going to be doing the next videos. Like I said, there's a whole load of stuff that needs finishing, so I've got all the parts for that now. That just needs checking and sorting out, see what's off with that. I've got 2 streamers there that we've got to do. Will they run on? Not hopeful for either of those. We're going to turn that into a patio heater. Yeah, I know it's a patio heater already, but we're going to cut it down and put the burner bit down there. So we're going to chop it there, put that bit down there, so it's just that, it's about that high, and cut the lid off around there, and that'll be it, and it'll stop it falling over. It's because we went to Beadnell near Bamborough. Anyway, up there, northeast, far northeast, and there's a restaurant near the beach, and they got those like that, but they were shrunk down. And the biggest problem we have with that is every time it's windy, it just gets blown over, which is why it looks like that and doesn't work. I've got a will it run to do on the generator, because I've not run that for ages, and I think that's got some issues. There's a will it run here. We've got a Kawasaki Qualcast 335, and I've got another 2 under the house as well that are ours, original ones that aren't running very well. I was using one today, and I think it's the carb's absolutely knackered, but the engine's making a bit of a clunking noise as well, so we're going to do something with that. What else have we got? I think that's all. There's an electric one down here. There's electric. They're narrower, but there's an electric one, so we've not had one of them before, so I think that should be fairly straightforward. We've got to make the table that goes outside there, and of course we're going to clear all of this, because we're going to get somebody in just to finish it, because I ain't got time to do it. So we're just going to pay somebody. We're going to design it, give it to them, and just say do it, and that's it. So that door needs replacing because it's too deep. There's not enough room to lay a floor. So I did that to that one last year and raised it a couple of inches, so you can get a floor in now up to the bottom of there, because it was down to there. It was actually below that. So hopefully we'll see. That might still be too high. You know what, that still might not be high enough. We moved it up a brick from the other one. I still don't think it's deep enough. Depends how thick a screed they want to put on the floor. I mean, it might be they can drop the floor down, to be honest, which would help no end. But anyway, let's see what they say. So there's a lot of stuff to come out of here. But hey ho, I'm sure we'll get it done. Right, that's it, enough waffle. Let's put it back in the stand. And call it a day there. Let's see what's going on for the chickens.